Eh, yeah, I'm back. But I'm back on here. You know, go. It's Martin Luther King Day. A lot of people are taking a day off. You know what I mean? This great man. Martin Luther King was cool with me. You know what I mean? The only thing I don't like was that immigration. That that we were segregated at first. I didn't like that immigration integration stuff. Integration, my bad. Integration. Uh, we should have stayed segregated. You know what I mean? 'Cause like I said, of course, because a lot of these people didn't like us. We had to. I mean, we had to find a way. Shoot. I don't know why. Like I said, that's the only thing I didn't like about his movement. Like, man, like, but I guess he had to do what he had to do during that time. You know what I mean? So yeah, today is MLK Day, the civil rights that made everybody come up here. I guess that changed. You know, which I was wrong, man. They used my people to come up here. So during that time. But here go one of his speeches I want to listen to. Hold on. This isn't the factor you remember. We're even better now. I'm Kara, Factor's head dietitian, and my team's now they don't respect. Now they don't respect us. I mean, they never did, but yeah, they really don't respect us now. A series of television programs concerning you and your freedom. Produced by KECA TV, St. Paul, Minneapolis, for the National Educational Television and Radio Center. Is this the one with
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Dr. King, we believe that your experience and your training, your dedication to the realization of having all men live in a free society, that you can provide us with some ideas, some methods, some techniques, some words of wisdom as to how we might achieve that and those goals in America. And one of the things we'd like to ask you to discuss with us is what is the particular problem which confronts the Negro in the South today in the effort to obtain freedom and first-class citizenship? Well, I think the biggest problem that the Negro confronts in the South today is the continued existence of a system which stabs him in the face almost every day, saying you are less than, you are not equal to. And I refer to the system of segregation. The tragedy of the system of segregation is that it not only harms one physically and makes for physical inconveniences, but it does something to the soul. It gives the segregator a false sense of superiority, and it leaves the segregated with a false sense of inferiority. So that this is one of the things that, and probably the major problem that the Negro confronts in the South in his struggle for freedom and human dignity.
It's funny that you say Negro. See, excuse me, for just saying what he was saying. Okay.
The continued existence of this system and the resistance of forces that are not really in line with the struggle.
Let me see something else. Trying to see one of his other speeches he had. Let me see something. I can play something. I've been looking at all his speeches that he did. me see his last speech.
If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving. If you can't fly,
So I don't know. Every Martin Luther King Day, I usually go back, look at speeches. So with the civil rights movement, and all I know is, he was a great speaker. You know what I mean? That's all. I really like Martin Luther King, but the integration stuff I didn't like too much. But it would have happened anyway. So, and that's funny what he did the last speech talking about come to collect the check. That's when they unalived this man. When he was really, at the, what I mean, toward his death. I try to see. Hold on. I usually play some of this stuff. I don't know, man. So let me see something. Maybe it's right here.
On this day in 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. He was one of the most prominent leaders in America's civil rights movement. He was in Memphis to support a strike when he was fatally shot. He died within minutes at the age of 39.
39 years old. So he was
on this day in 1960.
Okay. So that's when that happened. I'm trying to see
April the 4th.
I don't know, man. So yeah, of course this is Martin Luther King Day, so I'm gonna look at some of his videos.
Michael, are you still up? It's nearly.
Yeah, no. Oh well. Yeah, so I'm just here, Of course, I'm off from work. That's what off from work today. Thank goodness. But like I said, I really like his speeches, but I don't think during that time, like I said, now you know, now you see it. The problem today, it didn't work. The civil rights movement, in my opinion, didn't work. It just bring a lot of other people over here, and that's what us are complaining about right now. And then they forget about his they forget about this man fighting for their rights. You know what I mean? So they don't have no ain't no whatever immigrants don't have no care about this man. You know what I mean? And he the ones that fight for them to come over here. You know what I'm saying? So it's really sad right now because they talk about him so bad. This man right here, Martin Luther King. But
The sun in.
let me hear something. Hold on. Trying to find this one video. I don't find it. Oh well. But yeah, I normally listen to his speeches. I do this every year. Right here, man. Do this.
Take the next step in treating your moderate to severe ulcerative colitis with Entyvio, the only gut-focused.
How y'all doing?
so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise
Look
up,
how many people was down there in D.C.
live
Wow.
out the true meaning of its creed, We hold these truths to be self-evident.
Look how we wasn't riding and stuff like they're doing right now. Look how peaceful we was. Can't say that about that one they doing right now.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together
right here.
at the table of brotherhood.
I know one wasn't. I know a lot of them wasn't. Especially I think it's Selma. We're doing right here. And you could tell me this is like okay.
Heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted.
Yeah, this is remembrance today of Martin Luther King. So, you know, when we look at some of his speeches, it is what it is. But I haven't seen the sculpture yet down there in Atlanta. I'm gonna go one day down there to see that one day. Well, it sure was a nice looking couple right here. Let me see something. Oh, okay. Let me see this model.
A small number of people relatively going to the Capitol, but you never see the picture of the crowd. The biggest crowd I've ever spoken. I've spoken to the biggest crowds. Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me. If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, same number of people. If not, we had
this
more.
Was a year ago.
And they said he had 1 million people, but I had 25,000 people. But when you look at the exact same picture, and everything's the same because it was the fountains, the whole thing, all the way back to from Lincoln to Washington, and you look at it, and you look at the picture of his crowd, my crowd, we actually had more people. They said I had 25,000, and he had 1 million people, and I'm okay.
Okay, is he all right? Let me see his crowd. What are you talking about? Oh, now you talking about the crowd. Anyway.
August 28th, 1963.
Well, look at all the people.
1 million Americans, black and white, young and old, descend on the nation's capital in a show of solidarity. It was called the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, but it would be remembered as a turning point in the fight for civil rights. Among the speakers, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who electrified the crowd with a stirring "I Have a Dream" speech.
So even though we face the difficulties,
so I compare what he just said in his speech.
I still have a dream.
Yeah,
a few months earlier, racial tensions in the Deep South had erupted.
Yeah.
News reports carried brutal images of fire hoses blasting at the backs of school children.
Yeah, Caribbeans and that, whatever.
President Kennedy
this
had finally
is our
seen
dream
enough.
right here.
In June of 1963, he presented sweeping civil rights legislation to Congress. Dr. King and others hoped a massive yet peaceful demonstration in Washington would spur passage of the bill. The city braced for violence, but their fears proved unfounded. The day of the march, more than 200,000 people gathered for a rally at the Washington Monument. It was the largest demonstration in the country's history.
It is.
Arm in arm, they walked from the Washington Monument to the steps of the Lincoln Memorial.
So
There,
he was just
performers as
comparing
diverse
this, right?
as Joan Baez, Bob Dylan, and Mahalia Jackson lent their voices to the cause. Martin Luther King Jr. was the last to take the stage. He began with a reference to Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, which freed the slaves a century
Yeah,
earlier.
that's funny. That's the birthrights right now. What are you talking about?
But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free.
Partway through, King put aside his prepared text and shared with the protesters his dream of equal rights for all.
Let freedom ring, and when this happens,
Hey, whatever. Still, yeah, okay.
A small number of people relatively going to the Capitol, but you never see the picture of the crowd. The biggest crowd I've ever spoken, I've spoken to the biggest crowds. Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me. If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, same number of people. If not, we had more. And they said he had 1 million people, but I had 25,000 people.
Okay. So I'll compare y'all.
This is a hot flash. This is a not
You heard what
flash.
he just said, right?
This is a
So
March on Washington for jobs and freedom.
okay.
But it would be remembered as a turning point in the fight for civil rights. Among the speakers, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who electrified the crowd with his
I
stern,
didn't see this
I
many
have a
people
dream
at,
speech.
even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow,
whatever.
I still have a dream.
A few months earlier, racial tensions in the Deep South had erupted. News reports carried brutal images of fire hoses blasting at the backs of school children. President Kennedy had finally seen enough. In June of 1963, he presented sweeping civil rights legislation to Congress. Dr. King and others hoped a massive yet peaceful demonstration in Washington would spur passage of the bill.
Okay, here's the receipt.
The city braced for violence, but their fears proved unfounded. The day of the march, more than 200,000 people gathered for a rally at the Washington Monument. It was the largest demonstration in the country's history.
What did he just say?
Arm in arm, they walked from the Washington.
What did it just say?
The city braced for violence, but their fears proved unfounded. The day of the march, more than 200,000 people gathered for a rally at the Washington Monument. It was the largest demonstration in the country's history.
Look how many people there.
Arm in arm, they walked from the Washington Monument to the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. There, performers as diverse as Joan Baez, Bob Dylan, and Mahalia Jackson lent their voices to the cause. Martin Luther King Jr. was the last to take.
Yeah, well, this is history. Anyway, I didn't see that many people just relying on history. But you had the receipts is right here on YouTube, of course. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't see that many, whatever.
My dear fellow clergymen, while confined here in the Birmingham City Jail, I came across your recent statement calling my present activities unwise and untimely. Seldom do I
when he was getting
pause to answer
put in jail
criticism
on
of
town and
my
stuff.
work and ideas.
You know what I mean? Because I know he went to
If I
jail
sought
many
to
a
answer
times.
all the criticisms that crossed my desk, my secretaries would have little time for anything other than such correspondence in the course of the day, and I would have no time for constructive work. But since I feel that you are men of genuine goodwill and that your criticisms are sincerely set forth, I want to try to answer your statement in what I hope will be patient and reasonable.
We've come a long way, okay. I guess we'll see a whole lot of this. Then they go try to. I hope, like I said, hope this don't have to correlate with Minnesota because it don't have nothing to do with that.
Crazy facts about Martin Luther King Jr. He was arrested 29 times.
29 times.
Many of these charges were dropped, but they range from civil disobedience to traffic violations. On the 20th of September 1958, King was stabbed in the chest by a young woman by the name of Izola Ware Curry. She claimed that she had been after King for 5 years as she believed he had ties to the Communist Party. King survived the attack but underwent emergency surgery that lasted hours. King is the only non-president whose birthday is a national holiday in the United States. King was only 35 when he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, making him the youngest person in history to receive this award. Comment any cool facts you know about Martin Luther King. Crazy facts about Martin Luther King Jr.
Little facts, you know, you can watch all this on YouTube, you know. Right. I see something. I see this.
Now, one of the answers, it seems to me, is a guaranteed annual income, a guaranteed minimum income for all people and for all families of our country. It seems to me that the civil rights movement must now begin to organize for the guaranteed annual income, begin to organize people all over our country and mobilize forces so that we can bring to the attention of our nation this need and this something which I believe will go a long, long way toward dealing with the Negro's economic problem and the economic problem which many other poor people confront in our nation. Now, one of the answers, it seems to me, is a guaranteed
I know he there's the boycott.
And I think the boycott is just a means of dramatizing the indignities and the injustices which go along with a segregated school system. It's a way of bringing it to the surface and creating such a crisis that the community can no longer overlook it, but it must be dealt with. And I think the boycott.
Look at all these short videos.
Would you believe that this middle-aged woman tried...
Okay, well. Hear this one.
I will not go 10,000 miles from here to help murder and kill another poor people simply to continue the domination of white slave masters over the darker people of the earth. It is a war that he considers unjust
and his conscience will not allow him to do it. Now, certainly, I would endorse that. I would justify his action, and I would give him my strongest support in his doing. No matter what you think of Mr. Muhammad Ali's religion, you certainly have to admire his courage.
These didn't dog him out. That's good. So let me see. Yeah. He was a good speaker. I have to say that. So I guess I've been watching these videos. Oh man, they gonna though. He you know. So yeah, y'all can look on this on you already know YouTube and you know. So yeah, today is his day. I'll be watching a bunch of these videos. A lot of these speeches. That's his son. How y'all doing? I'm sorry, I'm not looking. Hold on, let me see this one. Martin Luther King Jr.
Nobody spoke into crowds bigger than me. If
Ain't
you
that
look at
something?
Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything.
This man is loud, man. Easy so. But yeah.
This day, 19.
My God, boy. I ain't gonna say nothing. Why would you say?
Not only that, let freedom
But look at
reign
his crowds,
from
though.
Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom reign from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom reign from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountain.
Boy, look at that. Sorry, complete. That was a very large crowd, Martin Luther King. Dang, look how many people was there. That was back 1960 something. Get on out of here, man. I'm talking about. You already know what I'm talking about.
We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and
I'm just gonna compare him crowd what he just got done saying, and yeah, okay.
The only way people can grapple with their prejudices is to admit that they have them. And so often people don't realize they have them. And so often people don't realize or honestly acknowledge that there is a problem. And it is necessary in the nonviolent movement to bring the issue to the surface so that people are forced to deal with it and to deal with their conscience on the issue. The only way people can grapple.
Yeah, we didn't accomplish our dreams, that's for sure.
I guess I could use some of this time to get into.
Yeah, that's it. Cause well, anyway. Yeah, what happened to this? What he was
We
doing
have an
there?
executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy,
What happened to that?
Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades.
So he said whatever Trump orders JFK, RFK, MAK assassinated documents released. Okay. It was like a few months ago, y'all. You know what I mean?
Give that to RFK.
Yes, sir.
I haven't heard nothing from that. See, and he even showed it. He even signed it. See.
We have an executive order.
Oh well. This oh, hold on.
In life and in death, Martin Luther King Jr. captured the public's imagination. But today, renewed attention is on the civil rights activist. He was shot dead by James Earl Ray in Memphis in 1968. 230,000 pages detailing MLK's assassination and the FBI surveillance of him have been released to the public. His living children oppose the move, saying in a statement that they condemn any attempts to misuse the documents in ways intended to undermine their father's legacy. The US president signed an executive order in January to release the trove of documents, but critics are questioning the timing of this publication. Donald Trump is under mounting pressure to release the files relating to Jeffrey Epstein, the sex offender whose jail death was ruled as a suicide in 2019.
To throw out the MLK files in the midst of this darkness is just one more distraction from a president who can't stand the truth. He can't stand transparency.
There is no question that this is part of a larger distraction. He said he was going to do some of this, but the timing, I think.
Okay, let's just get away from the topic. So, okay. Yeah, let's get away from the topic. I don't know. So he did well.
In the meantime, the Trump administration has released thousands of records
It was,
related to the
5 months ago,
assassination of Dr.
According to this video. Let me see what this man talking about.
Behind me, that room 306 is the actual room there where
I gotta go down there one day and go to Memphis.
And the shots actually came all the way from over there. That's where the shots came from the back of that window. And that was like a straight shot, and boom, at 6:01 p.m., that's what happened. So this was one of the hotels that was really used for all of the black community. These two cars were standing when this actual event happened. Another thing to focus on is the sign. That's from back in the day. So you can see the sign, and it says, I have a dream, MLK. Pretty important historic sign. Behind me.
Okay, well, that's about it. You know, I would say one thing. He did do a lot. He got arrested 29 times, so he believed what he believed in. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I really like I said, Martin Luther King, but it still didn't work. So that's why we have these problems. You know, like today. So you know what I mean. But at least he did go out there and did what he had to do. And I remember he said he got arrested 29 times, y'all. So y'all already listened to that video, whoever been on here. Thank you for being on here. You know what I mean? So he did, you know what I mean? So, a lot of, like the Black Panthers and, here, let me see this. Hold on real quick. This had nothing to do with nothing. Hold on.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on making the most craveable chicken finger meals, getting them right every time.
Excuse me.
Finally, a lasting weight loss solution that fits into your hectic schedule. At Fridays, we're...
Hold on, let me see something. What is this? Oh, it's just a protest. Hey, man. Ooh, it's cold out there. So this is what they do in Minnesota. Oh my God, man. Who is he? He look like he Asian. Excuse me. Sorry y'all for the cursing. Lady. Whatever, man. Yeah, I can look that up on I'm sorry, that curse. I don't like too much of that.
It wasn't just girl.
It's live right now on YouTube. You know what I mean? Whoever on here. So whoever on here, that just says live right now on YouTube. So y'all can watch on YouTube. So that's it. That's all I have to say. I'm going to look at these speeches. That Minnesota stuff. Oh well. Y'all have a good night. I'm gonna hold on. This is about Martin Luther King today. I'm just focused on him. So I don't know if y'all can see this real good or so I was looking at speeches comparing, like I said, it's a lot of lies going on. Cause like just what the Orange Man was saying, talking about he had a big crowd. He could clearly see that Martin Luther King had one of the biggest crowds in U.S. history. So that's a lie right there. Saw a video. You just saw a video on that. So it is what it is. So he told her to jump, and she said hi. So that's it. I'm just gonna get off of here. You have a nice day. I'm just showing receipts. You know what I mean? So yeah, Martin Luther King surely had way more people than the man in office, and he even what I mean. So that's about it. Oh well, I'm off of here. I'm here to show receipts. I'm not here to lie. Um, most of these people they come online to lie. Let's see what this man talking about. Okay. All right, it's a lot of things, but y'all have a blessed day. You have a good day. Martin Luther King, fight for a lot of our rights. Whether y'all dislike him or not, at least he did. He did do marches. He did fight for our rights. He did care about people. You know what I mean? So he was very active. He wasn't, he was on the internet like a lot of us, even me. I admit I'd be on the internet too. I ain't gonna lie. I'd be on, whatever on there too. So I'm guilty of it. He ain't like us, whatever, that this he was really active. He was really marching and stuff, organizing stuff. Not on the keyboards, typing like us now. So hey, I'm guilty of that too. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? I can't do the half the things he was doing back then. Now I'm getting beat up and getting fire hose, getting hosed down. I mean, I'm sorry, hosed down and everything else. I can't no, and being called, the N word and stuff all day and night and getting beat up by batons by the police. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, matter of fact, I should go see that, but I'm just gonna stay off of here. So, right now, they're doing all this in Minnesota right now. Uh, so
With Cash App card.
oh well, commercial, and I'm hungry. So y'all have a blessed day. Thank you very much. I'm just saying, I don't hate anybody. You know what I mean? It's Martin Luther King Day, so hey, it is what it is. I mean, oh well, all right then. Y'all be blessed. Y'all get along with each other. Be blessed. That's all. We're just showing. That's it. And all this. All this on whatever. So thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.